Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Random Encounters Guild. Tonight we are playing uh, the role-playing game that NASA released a few weeks ago called The Lost Universe, and we will go over the story and everything for what's the setting and what's happening once we get in. But the way they set up this game is it's agnostic to system. You can run it with 5e, you can run it with Pathfinder, you can run it with any system you want. And as luck would have it, we're creating our own system. We're working on a new game called Chain Theory. And I thought it would be kind of cool to run this and use it kind of as a play test and do a higher level play test of Chain Theory. I am Guildmaster Scott. I started the Random Encounters Guild in 2019 as a way to. We just like to jump around from system to system and play a bunch of different games with a bunch of different people. We enjoy having people come in and who want to try GMing for the first time, or if you're a new player and you're maybe not comfortable or you don't know anyone that's into playing, you're more than welcome at the guild, and you will find a game there. There's a link in chat for our Discord server where we do all of our shenanigans. Joining me tonight are my amazing players. Below me we have Ned. Ned, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ned. I played quite a few games. I'm still trying to finish Expanse. We'll get there.
And Tim.
Hi, I'm Tim, longtime member of the guild. Tim the Toolman in most places on the web, and just looking forward to checking out this NASA adventure and Chaos Theory at a higher level.
Chain Theory, but Jenna's
I'm
involved,
sorry.
so it might be Chaos Theory tonight. That
It was
leads us to
chaotic
Jenna.
before, but yeah, Chain Theory.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I've literally never done anything wrong in my entire life, and I don't know what Scott could possibly be referring to. I'm sometimes around on the guild. I've run some of our Blades in the Dark games, which hopefully will be coming back soon, depending on life. And I'm also on Fem Gamer Party, where I stream there sometimes, and a bunch of other places. I don't know. I'm around. I am a delight to play with. That's all you need to know.
Beyond
100%. Yes. Never a dull moment.
So I put in the Discord chat a character sheet. I'm assuming you all have that in your possession.
Correctamundo.
So the way Chain Theory works, we're designing it for super quick and easy character creation, and it got playing our funnel last week. It got a little convoluted and took some time because everybody was creating 4 players instead of just 1. So tonight we should be able to get through this pretty quick. So what you're going to do? You've got 3 attributes. You have brawn, brains, and brisk. Since we're doing this at a higher level, normally if we're starting at level 1, the mechanic is you've got a D10, a D8, and a D6, and you put 1 in each of those 3 attributes, and that's the die you roll for that attribute. But we're going higher, so I want you to do a let's go a D14, a D12, and a D10. So if you want to be a frontline tanky character, you'll put your D14 in brawn. If you want to be a roguish ranger type, you'll put your D14 in brisk, because your ranged attacks are using brisk. If you want to be a magic user, Someone that's intelligence based, you will obviously put your D14 in brains. But you can put them wherever you want. That's the point of this system is instead of a class per se, you can create the character you want to create. There's no like, well, I can't do that because I don't have that. I don't have knowledge fisherman, so I can't fish. No, I don't have knowledge fisherman, but I can go down the river and throw a line in the water if I want to. So it's a matter of a die roll. I'm taking the class away and putting it on the dice.
So you said 14, 10, and what?
14, 10, and 12.
Okay.
So if you want to, like I said, you could be a fighter brawn type character with a 14 in brawn, but then you could put your 12 in brains. But that means your agility is going to be a little bit lower. But here again, everything is opposed rolls. So you could be rolling a D20 and I could be rolling a D4. But if you roll a 2 and I roll a 4, I still win. It's all in the dice roll, and everything is opposed. So so does everyone have their attributes settled?
Mm-hmm. I went high brawn and then brisk and then brains. So brains is my low stat. But 1d10 is still not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way, if you notice on that character sheet, there's skills under each. There's 3 skills under the attributes, and there's 5 or 7 pips next to it. When you roll a 1 or like if your die is a D14, if you roll a 1 or a 14, you mark off one of those pips. And once you've filled out the 7, that skill, you get to bump it up a die. So instead of a 14, it will be a 16. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat.
Are we still doing the where you can burn a pip?
Yes, and you can burn a pip to bump a die roll. So if you're in a big climatic scene and you really need this hit to land, or this shot, or this spell, you can burn a pip and bump your die roll up a die to give you a better chance. All right, so if everyone has got their attributes done, good grief, I'm sorry. Your backbone will be a D7 in this case.
Why? Just because he loves D7s.
No, I'm actually starting out. It's a D6, so I'm just bumping it up. I didn't want to go up to a D8, but I wanted to give something to show a level up. And what backbone is your soak. So if you take a hit, the weapon does damage, and then you roll your backbone roll. And whatever you roll on backbone, that takes the good grief.
You are struggling.
I know. I don't know what has happened. Whatever you roll on backbone takes the damage points away. So it's almost like an armor class roll, but and your hit points are whatever you put in your brawn die. So if you put your 14 in brawn, you've got 14 hit points. If you put your 12 in brawn, you've got 12 hit points.
Uh-oh.
Works for me.
Really the only thing that is left is
armor?
Well, yeah, we can do armor if you want your character to be wearing some form of armor. But let's go with race first, or whatever we want to call it. We haven't really given much thought to it at this point. But if you want to be, as I said, this is a fantasy setting. So if you want to be a half orc or an elf or a dwarf or a halfling, that's fine. Any of the base classes, I don't want to do anything crazy. Like Pathfinder's got the 30 different things you can do, but any of the base classes you can be. Does anybody want to be anything other than a human based character?
I want to go with elf.
All right, your brisk will be whatever you put in brisk. Bump it up a die. So what did you put in your brisk?
14.
So it will be a D16 now.
Okay.
I would like to be a half orc.
All right, your brawn goes up.
Woo woo!
If you
We'd
put
love to see
if
it.
you put your 14 in brawn, it's now a D16.
I did. Does that mean my hit points go up too?
Yep.
Sweet.
Working the system.
Tim, do you want to do anything outside of human?
I'm just gonna go just good old fashioned earthling human.
And what did
Can't argue
what
with a classic.
did you go? I know Ned is going ranger, and apparently Jenna is going tank. So
Fighter. Yeah, tank.
what did you go with, Tim?
Having heard them put out what they were doing, I went with, I figured we might need some brains. And so I went brains, brisk, then brawn. So maybe we'll be nice and balanced between the three of us.
All right, so we haven't gone too deep into like weapons and armor, but what we've done is, and like I said, everything about this game, our whole thing behind this is simple. Keep it simple, stupid, and quick. So if I'm assuming, Ned, you want to have a bow?
Yes.
You want to be ranged? All right, so your bow will do, we're going to say 1d5 damage. So on a successful hit, you will roll 1d5, and that will go against the other person's, your target's backbone.
Okay.
Tim, do you want any kind of a weapon?
Of course. What kind of weapons do we have? I mean, are we looking like just straight up fantasy type stuff?
Yeah,
or?
there's no like guns or
Okay.
laser weapons. It is a bit
no
confusing.
figures.
You'll get the gist of it once we get into the story, but it is a bit confusing for NASA to put out a straight up fantasy story. But I think they were trying to target the D&D crowd is what they were trying to do. So
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll go with just your basic sword, I guess.
all right, that will be a D. That's also a D5.
All right.
And our half orc berserker, what would you like?
I would like a battle axe, please.
We're gonna call that a D6. And now for armor, what we've got set up is if you go with a medium armor, something like leather or studded leather or something like that, you 100% get to choose what you want to do. But medium armor, it bumps your backbone up a die, so that's your damage soak, but it bumps your brisk down a die. And then heavy armor does the same thing, but it's 2 steps. It bumps your backbone up 2 steps and your brisk down 2 steps. So you can go with no armor, or you can go with medium and do the 1-for-1, or heavy and do the 2-for-2. 100% up to you. How you want to play your character and what you want to do.
And hit points is based off of brawn?
Yeah, whatever's in your brawn attribute. So if you put your D10 in brawn, you've got 10 hit points.
Okay.
I think
For
I'm gonna
now.
go medium.
I know in the funnel I let them roll a D6 on top of it, but a funnel is a completely different animal. Our chain theory is not going to have a funnel at the end of the day, but
that's the only way to survive a DCC funnel.
Yeah, it's.
I'll stay with no armor.
I went with the medium armor myself.
And like, if you want a dagger or something like that, that's fine too. I mean, like a dagger will be a D3 damage. We can handle that on the fly if you want, something small like that. But your main weapon will be what you've picked here. I believe that's it. I think that is all. Unless you guys have any kind of a question or anything that you want to ask before we get started, we will.
As far as equipment, you just figure you always have your necessities, correct?
Yeah, I mean, even in Pathfinder, I've never been one to worry about like rations and like I don't have time for that.
We have to deal with that in real life. I don't want to deal with it in a game.
So yeah, I don't. As I said, I'm trying to keep the whole concept behind this is simple and easy to pick up. I want you to be able to sit down at a table having never heard of this game and be playing in 15 minutes. That's right. That's the whole concept is get going and have fun. But as I said, the entire mechanic is opposed rolls. So like Ned, when you fire your bow at a creature, you will roll brisk. Well, at this point, what you roll is your ranged attack, which is one of the skills under brisk, which can change. As I said, if you get 7 1s or 14s, you bump your ranged attack up a die, but not everything else, just the ranged attack. But you will roll your brisk against my creature's brisk. Mm-hmm. Like you'll roll and then I will roll, and whoever gets, if you roll higher, you hit, and if I roll higher, you miss.
Okay.
And it's same with swords and battle axes. It's a melee or a brawn roll. And if you want to cast a spell, it's brains. And in this world, you all have access to spells. Let's not get crazy. Like,
oh, you just open up a can of worms.
The system, even the way it's written is limited. It's not. They didn't go overboard with it, and we really haven't developed a magic system in chain theory as of yet. So anything that you come up with, I will be adjudicating and calling on the fly. So yeah, I cast fireball. No, you don't. That's not going to work. I cast disintegrate. No, you don't. That's not going to work. We're not going to do that here. But the way this system is this world is, people have access to the vacuum is what they call it. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of spotty. And but some people are better adjusted to it and can use it more, and some people can't. So it would be a matter of a brains roll, but even then, the spells you're allowed to use are going to be. Let's just keep it. We're all friends here. Let's keep it civil. I promise my guys aren't going to be doing disintegrates and fireballs either. So.
Wait. So if we let you have disintegrate and fireball, are we allowed to have disintegrate and fireball?
No.
No.
It was worth a shot.
I mean, okay. Sorry, we started a little bit later than I thought we were going to. I need to put Tabby to bed, so can I have like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, go on without me or whatever, but
no, we can chat for a few minutes. I've got another screen set up. So yeah, anything else? Any other questions about the mechanic at all, or about combat or skills or anything?
Okay, so if I'm like rolling a brisk attack ranged, would you be like doing a brisk mobility to dodge, or
Yes.
is it okay?
And I've got the things you will be fighting. They don't have like everything. I just got the attribute score. I don't have they haven't leveled anything up within the attributes. So, but I have set up character sheets for the things you're going to be going against. But yeah, you will roll a brisk ranged attack, and I will roll a brisk mobility. And whichever one is the higher is if I'm higher, you miss, and if you're higher, you hit.
So whenever you're attacking us, we'd use mobility.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the same with a brawn attack. If somebody's attacking you with a fist or with a sword, it's a brisk mobility roll to
Dodge the
combat
brawn
it. Yeah.
melee. Right. Okay.
And then whatever your damage is, you will roll that die. I kind of want to have the weapons just be static damage, but Kevin and I are kind of in flux about that. We haven't decided what we want to do. Right now it's a die roll, but so like with your bow, it's a D5. So if you hit, you'll roll a D5, and my guy will roll his backbone roll. And it could, like if you roll a 1 on your D5 and I roll a 3 on my backbone, he doesn't take damage. Like you hit him, but it bounces off his armor or something. It's the way it works. I'm kind of leaning towards at least having 1 point of damage, because I've never been one to. I don't really like a successful hit and then you don't get anything for it. So I'm thinking about making the damage, no matter what the damage roll is, at least 1 point gets through.
Well, have you thought of like having the static damage, but then depending on how much you beat the other person's dice, make either
the difference is the soak?
Yeah.
That's not bad. I like that. Is Kevin in the chat? Is Kevin here?
I haven't seen him.
All right. We'll need to tomorrow, Kevin, while you're watching this on the YouTube, make note of that, because that's not a bad idea. Because I've always been kind of iffy on the backbone soaking thing. It seems like it's a little OP. But instead of just what you roll being the soak, the difference in the two being the soak, that's got merit. I like that.
Yeah.
That might have, we might have to put that into the funnel playtest next week. That could be interesting. So future Kevin and future Scott, make note of that and add it to the Notion file. Tim, have you got any? Well, you played last week in the funnel.
Yeah.
Have you got anything standing out to you from a, like, now that we're at a higher level? Does anything stand out to you?
No, I mean it. I mean, we're just rolling a little bit higher die. It depends on what we're going up against, but that was pretty interesting though. I like that idea, especially if you're rolling like a D10 or a D12 and they're rolling a D6. You get that extra damage if they don't soak it all, instead of just getting that set, and it kind of demonstrate the skill in that attack or whatever.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
And like I said, the whole concept is like, I mean, if you ever reach God mode and you're rolling one of these D30s, one of these big chunky boys, you might be rolling a D30 and the thing you're attacking may have a brisk mobility of a D12. It doesn't matter if you roll a 2 on this and he rolls a 8. He still wins. It's still a miss. Right. So it's all even. You have a better chance as you level up. You have more chance of a hit, but it's still not guaranteed. It's still, if you roll a 1, it's a 1. There's no getting around that. And like I said,
the thing I like is the difference will show your expertise compared to what you're fighting.
Yeah.
But even the best miss occasionally.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we're the ones rolling the D6 and they're rolling the D30, we can get that lucky shot in and get a good point for it,
Yeah, everybody, there's always the chance.
Yeah, it's not like when you get up against those enemies where it's like the only way I'm going to hit them is roll a D20. I mean, roll a 20. And that's right. That's the only way I'm going to hit. This way, there's always a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all you got to do is roll higher. If you roll a 8 and the other dude rolls a 7, you still win. Like it's all down to the higher roll. That's all it is. And that's why it's called chain theory, is because you can move up and down the chain of the dice chain. You can lose die in your attributes. You can drop. And like if there's a specific, if you're trying to do some agility or mobility check, and I decide it's particularly difficult, like you've got a D12 in brisk, but this is a long jump you're trying to make, I'll have you roll a D10.
Right.
That's the difficulty range. Is instead of a target number, I just drop the die down and then we roll. And if you roll higher than I do, you make the jump. If not, you fall to your death.
Nice.
I don't want to start without Jenna, because the setup of the story is kind of the whole like everything is kind of built off that. Hopefully she'll be back in just a minute. Tabby usually goes down pretty quick. Anything else stand out to you? Like, I mean, that character creation, it wasn't 15 minutes, it was more like 30. But
yeah, we chatted a lot about it though.
Yeah.
The actual character creation took just like a minute or two.
Yeah, I would say maybe 5 minutes to get it.
And doing it at a higher level also kind of adds a bit of a, you know, kind of it's this is something new. Like what we're doing here tonight, we've never done before. We've never tried it. So the only thing we've done at this point has been first level, and that's like base numbers. So, and I almost, if I'd had time this afternoon, I would have just created a handful of characters, and just, if you pick the Brawn character, here's the Brawn character. If you pick the Brains character, and when Kevin is going to run this at Gen Con later this year, and I think that's what we're going to do, is just create like 9 different characters that will be, you know, the different settings. Brawn, Brisk, Brains, Brawn, Brains, Brisk, you know, and just have them all, and then the players at his table can just pick who they want. Okay, Jenna's back.
Yay.
All right, so we can jump into the story. So these characters you've created, I want you to take those characters and like take them out of your little brains and put them over here. Where we start off is you are yourself. You're Jenna, Ned, and Tim. You all 3 work for NASA.
Dibs on being Jenna.
I'm Ned.
Damn it! I wanted to be Jenna. I wanted to go crazy
Ned.
today.
We all do.
The shenanigans have begun.
I actually did work at NASA for a little bit.
I know. I'm extremely jealous of that fact. Now, what you do at NASA is up to you. Like, you could be an astronaut that goes up and does repair work, or you can be a engineer or a designer, or whatever you want your career at NASA to be. But you work at NASA. Back in 1990, NASA launched a revolutionary new observatory called the Hubble Space Telescope into low Earth orbit. About the size of a school bus, Hubble was designed to change humanity's view of the cosmos with its high-resolution view of the universe. By placing the telescope above Earth's murky atmosphere, it would be able to observe space without any interference from clouds, light pollution, or atmospheric distortions. Hubble Visions sees beyond what the human eye can, extending into ultraviolet and near-infrared ranges. The placement and design of this telescope would revolutionize our understanding of the cosmos, launching an era of unparalleled astronomical discovery. Plus, Hubble's design, including the ability to be serviced in space by astronauts, which allowed the telescope to be repaired and upgraded multiple times. But in this world, it's as if Hubble never even existed. And in a world without Hubble, nobody knows the age of our universe, or that black holes lurk in the centers of galaxies, or just how much beauty the cosmos contains. Without Hubble, there is no James Webb Space Telescope. Without the critical experience of servicing missions completed by astronauts in space. The International Space Station also never happened. Technology that detects cancer, tracks endangered species, decodes ancient manuscripts, and more is also lacking. You and your friends work at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. Your jobs are exciting and fulfilling, and you discover more about your planet and universe every day. But you can never shake the feeling that something big is missing. A subtle ache lives in your mind, insisting that you're forgetting something. But it's always just out of reach. The more you try to remember, the worse the pain gets. All three of you experience this feeling, but lately it's impossible to ignore. You suggest a group walk around Goddard's campus to clear your heads, but as you wander around the buildings, your head begins to hurt and the exhaustion becomes overwhelming. It's almost like you're dozing off, but you quickly realize that's not the case. Suddenly, the hair on the back of your neck stands on end and you're pulled into darkness. The darkness fades around you, and you find yourself standing in front of what seems to be a portal, one of several in this bustling space around you. Something about this is familiar. It's like a bus stop on Earth. Each of the different portals around you has a walkway leading right up to it and a sign hanging above. One says Sarthelios. One says Besca Perea. One says Palaridian. And one says Architunum. You can surmise that these portals are leading to a different city. And as you take everything in, you see a sign high above in large lettering that reads, "Welcome to Aldestron." The more you take in these strange yet somewhat familiar surroundings, you hear different languages as people walk and talk, different species you've never seen before. But more immediately, you realize you're standing in a group of people that all seem to be taken with the same confusion you're experiencing. As your fellow players look at you, what do they see? So you were Ned a second ago, and now you're who?
So do I actually know that I've changed from being a human?
Yeah, you have your memories from Earth.
Okay.
But you don't know what this place is. You don't have any memories of this, but you have all of your memories from Earth.
Do I know that I'm an elf now?
Well, I mean, like you can look like whatever you're wearing is different, and like there's a bow and quiver on your back, and like, so yeah, but everybody else sees the ears and the hair and whatever else. But yeah, you're looking at a half orc.
Okay.
And everybody else is walking around. There's dwarves and halflings, and Tim is standing. It's a human standing there, but it doesn't look like Tim. It's not what you remember as Tim. So what does your guy look like, and does he have a name?
Yeah. So I look kind of pretty much like dressed up in a green tunic and like green leather pants, kind of like a soft leather boots, kind of curled up in the front a little, and all of a sudden I have, instead of being bald, I have like this long white hair. And still looking confused, I'm like, as I'm like ready to say Ned, I say, I'm Lindolin Everfrost. And I'm like, well, no. So now I'm looking confused. So I'm like, hey, Jenna, you're looking a bit big and ugly.
I'm not ugly. I'm very cute. Thank you.
Well, you were.
So what does your character look like, Jenna? And what is their name?
Her name is Rix, and I am 5'5", pretty mid-weight, kind of average all along the board, as far as like physicality. So you kind of look over expecting me to be here, and I'm like a 6'2", very lovely, vibrant green half orc, with the bottom tusks. And she has this dark, like forest green hair that's braided into two long pigtails, and there's sunflowers braided into them. And she's wearing medium armor that's like leathers and like kind of bronze chain. And in the leather is like pressed and stamped this sunflower motif. And on her back, she has a battle axe, and the battle axe is like shaped. The axe part of it is shaped kind of like a leaf. Is the sharp edge of it, and she has sunflower tattoos, like a full sleeve down one arm, that just kind of a little bit move in the breeze, just a little bit. So I feel like I look down and go, Ned?
Yeah, I think so.
You have
maybe.
3 seconds to redecide that I'm cute.
Well, with all the flower, and you're blooming like a beautiful flower.
Thank you. That's much better.
And you both turn and look at where Tim was standing between you, and what do they see, Tim?
You're still looking at a human, and he's still bald, but there's something a little different about him. There's some odd looking tattoos on his head, and it's all kind of techie looking, I guess you would say. And his name is William Shatner. No, I'm just kidding. I missed that one like that. His name is Mikhail Andromeda.
Okay, first off, that name is awesome. Second, what do I have to do for you to do the impression?
We've done that. We didn't do it. It was before we started Twitch streaming, but we did a. There's a very specific Dungeon Crawl Classics module where this dude is time traveling, and he's obsessed with pop culture. So he has the robot from Lost in Space, and he has the Mona Lisa, and he's got all these things from other realms. And Dan's character got killed in combat, and they found
had Dan in carbonite.
They found a like a tube with a man standing in it.
A naked man.
Yeah, he was naked. And they rescued him, and Dan took that character over, and it was William Shatner.
We call it Billy Shatner.
I told him he could do it as long as he did the impression. When you speak, you have to do the voice. And he didn't do it all the time, but he did it for most of it. But
Ned, can you tell me your character's name one more time?
Lyndalyn Everfrost.
So yeah, as the three of you are standing there, like looking at yourselves and looking at each other, like you hear a couple of people walk by, and like you just overhear, like, great idea, I could use a pint. We should go to the Horsehead Tavern for supper. Damien always has some kind of crazy story to tell. And like you turn and look, and these two like one is a human and one is a elf. They walk by you as if they don't even notice you. You're just three people in the crowd. They walk by you down this, like, out of this little, where you're at is like a station. There's all these portals that you think go to other cities, and then there's a street that goes further in. And the one of the things you notice is you don't know what time of day it is. There's no sun, there's no moon. You may see some stars in the sky, but all of the light is generated. There are lanterns hanging all around, but they don't appear to be flame. It's almost like there's some kind of arcane something is keeping them alight. But there's no, like, if you look up into the sky, there's no moon, there's no sun. It's just dark. All of the light is generated by these lanterns that are hanging around. And this main street that you see these two people walking down, there's ropes going across and lanterns hanging from it, and it just illuminates the whole street. And there's shops, and there's all kinds of people milling about. You look down the street and you see like I said, it's something like a cross between street lights and lanterns hanging from poles. Further down, you see a broad sign hangs out from a building showing a dark head of a horse on a field of bright red, along with a frothy mug. There appears to be a semicircle of people surrounding the door, and some loud shouting, both from the door and from the people looking inside. What do you want to do?
Well, that looks like my kind of party.
Well, I definitely need a drink after this.
Me too. Something's not right, and yeah, gotta let the brain reset a second.
So let's go for a drink, see what's up. And I will jauntily walk over to check out the commotion mostly, but also we could get some drinks. I mean, I don't see my badge on me anymore, so I assume we're not on company time.
No.
The boss will never know.
So you make your way down to the Horsehead Tavern. As you walk along what looks to be the main street, you come upon what appears to be a tavern. The sign hanging above the door reads Horsehead Tavern. The exterior looks well kept, though it has been there for a while. Within the tavern, you hear the sounds of a commotion. People walking by the tavern give it a wide berth as they hear sounds of shouting inside. People who begin to approach often seem to think better of it, but a few still wander inside.
I've never thought better of anything in my life. Let's do this.
All right, you walk in, and there is a halfling and a human arguing with each other. What are you trying to say? No, it's ghosts from old Makshana making our researchers disappear? That's nonsense. What really happened was the criminal underbelly of this city. It's getting out of control. Rampant kidnappings is what it is. You've seen how ineffective the guard is. No. The captain keeps sending the guard outside the city. That's where the trouble is. I'll bet you my nose. And at these words, the halfling jumps up on the table and punches the human straight in the mouth. And so this just, like, the whole place goes nuts.
I reach for the popcorn.
Do you involve yourself in this, or do you make your way to the bar?
So I make my way around, like, the wall area toward the bar. kind of avoiding everything going on in the middle?
I will walk to the bar directly through between the two of them, pick up the halfling on my way, and set him on the bar. You seem like you could use a drink, friend.
Okay. With that, I am going to have you roll. I mean, would that be I don't think that would be a melee attack. I think that would
Is that
be
a strong arm?
Strong arm, yeah.
Yeah. Give me a strong arm roll, and
So
I guess
that's
I will do strong arm as well.
so it's all the same 1d6, right? Because
Yeah,
1d16,
until you
so that's my
until
con.
you level one up, it's all the same.
Gotcha. Okay. All
Well,
right.
she's got. You roll the D, whatever you have for that brawn, right?
Yeah, and brawn.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it'll just be a brawn roll at this point. But you
Which
get
is 1d16 for me. And I rolled a
Nice.
16.
Oh,
all right. So
Yeah.
you get to check off one of the little pips.
That's a good way to start.
The halfling rolled a 2.
I'm not very good at math, but I think I beat a 2.
So yeah, you snatch him up. Now there's other people like there. It wasn't just the two of them. Once the fight broke out, like several people got into it. Somebody threw a beer and like things went off, but it was definitely him that was inciting it. But yeah, as you walk by, you just snatch him up by the back of his shirt and carry him over to the bar and set him down. So, are you buying him a drink?
Well, first I'm gonna give him a second to like react to that, because if he seems like he's gonna try and fight me, I'm just gonna do that thing you do with little kids where you like kind of put your hand on their head. And
Oh,
they,
he
like,
does. He's definitely like, "What are you doing?" He's swinging and like he's going
Mhm.
nuts because he's already pissed off. But yeah, you're
calm.
just holding him out at arm's length, and
Mhm.
he's kicking and
And I'm just kind of holding him like this. I'm turned to the bartender. Can we get 4 drinks, please? Thanks.
Does anybody want to say anything to him or like try to calm him down in any way?
I'll walk up and using charm, I'll try to bring it. Get him to
That
calm
would
down. a little
that would be a manipulation roll.
bit.
So
All right.
brains. But
That's
what
biggie, so-
will he roll? I guess he'll roll study.
all right. Oh, great. Well, that's a 9. I thought it was a 6 at first, but that is a 9.
There we go. Forgive me, I don't have my dice and that is a 9. So what was your die?
It was a D14.
Okay, I've got a D12. So you win.
All right. So yeah, I'm just like, do you see what you're up against here? As just pointing over to my friend Rix, and like, really, it's good if you just calm down a little bit.
Yeah, he's just again like he just hangs there, and like he stops struggling, and he just like he's still holding him out there, but he just like he's just shaking his head like this is what my life has become, and he looks up and he says, "Damien, just give me the drink." And you all look and see this is definitely a creature that you've never seen before. It is he looks kind of like Ned's character, but his skin is completely like obsidian, like completely black. And his hair is long and white. Uh,
I
and
love your hair.
he looks up and like he's trying to hold back a laugh, but he pours a pint of mead and sets it on the bar in front of the halfling and says just chill out, just there's no need for all of this. And like he kind of looks at the three of you as like, if you can settle this crowd down, like I don't necessarily want there to be fisticuffs, but if somebody could do something to get this crowd in order, this would be like whatever you did with this guy, that would be great. I'll give you a free round if you can calm this crowd down, because behind you people are just going nuts. People are fighting.
Is there like a chandelier or like something hanging from the ceiling?
Of course, made out of antlers.
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot the rope hanging it.
You're going to vandalize the bar?
Well, it's gonna stop the fight.
It will get their attention.
But it may upset the tavern keep.
He didn't say how to do it. He just said get it done.
And you were worried about shenanigans from Jenna.
Give me a, if that's what you're going to do, give me a ranged attack roll. What is your die in ranged?
1d16.
All right, let me find my D. There's my D16. So I'm just going to roll when it's something like this where it's environment roll. It's not like you're going against an NPC. I just roll the same die that you roll.
Okay.
So, but again, it's higher roll wins. So, yeah, Ned's. I'm sorry, I don't remember your character names. Ned's character turns around and pulls his bow and like Damien is like, whoa, 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 whoa! What are you doing? And even hearing that, do you fire?
Yeah.
All right, roll it.
I did.
What'd you get?
16.
I got a 10. So you hit the rope that is holding the chandelier and it crashes down. There's a huge table in the middle of the tavern and it crashes down, and all these aren't the lanterns that you saw outside. These are actual candles. I'm not going to say you set the place on fire, but it crashes down and like everybody just stops.
And then I stand up
just in mid punch. It's like
I stand up on the table and I'm like, hey, we all need to get along. If you don't stop what you're doing, it's not going to solve anything. So let's just sit, relax, and let's have a beer.
That will be a manipulation roll. And what do you have in brains?
D12.
All right. So, yeah. So we both rolled D12s. Oh,
and
Chain
don't forget
Theory
to get
dice are cold tonight. Last week they were hot. This week they're cold. What'd you get?
A 2.
Oh,
I got a 4. So yeah, they stop and they look at you and then they just go back to brawling. Like somebody chucks a chair and they just go right back into it.
And I jump up on the bar and I yell out, "Could I have your attention, please?" And just start singing the best sea shanty I can think of, and kicking and dancing down along the bar, getting people's attention for that. And so, yeah, we're gonna try another charm.
All right, so that'll be a manipulation roll. What do you have in brains?
D14
with the dancing.
They were looking at him, so yeah, any assistance would be helpful. My D14
we haven't really done an assist mechanic in the game as of yet. We haven't we haven't given that any thought. But all right, what did you roll?
I rolled a 9 again. Apparently, my D14 only goes up to 9.
I rolled an 11. They keep going.
I look at
Jenna,
Rick. And I'm
would
like,
you like to?
we're
Rick's,
never going to get drinks with these people acting like this.
Would you like to
No,
take
no.
some kind of action?
He said we can have drinks. They're just free if we get them to stop. So, I'm going to pat my little friend on the head. He's stuck. He sat on the bar, right? I didn't put him in a chair. I put him on the bar, and I'm like, I'll be right back. And I'm going to pull out the axe, and whoever, because these guys are fighting for no reason, right? The two that was originally fighting are now completely separate from each other. So everybody else is just looking for a brawl.
Yeah. Well,
So-
it seems like tensions are, something is going on within the city, and everyone is scared, and tensions are high. So this was just the spark that ignited the flame.
So he is going to find the closest disagreement, and slam the axe down on the table between the two of them, not trying to hurt anybody, but obviously cleaving a fight in twain, and going, listen up. You want to fight, you fight me. You want to drink, then you can stay here. Those are the options.
Pick the second one.
What is your manipulation, or what is your brains?
My brains is 10, a D10.
A D10. All right, I'm going to give you a D12.
Okay, because the battle axe.
But I'm still rolling a D10.
That's reasonable. Let me get my roll on here. That's an 11.
Grief. I got a 4.
Well, there's no way you could have rolled an 11 on your D10 anyway.
So everybody, like with this, everybody stops and everybody looks up at this half orc that nobody knows. They've never seen you, or at least you don't know that they've seen you. You may live in this city. You don't have any recollection of it at the moment, but whatever this body is that you're in, this may be a creature that lived in this place. But everyone stops and kind of chills out, and this dark elf behind the bar, Damien, he raises his hands like, listen, everybody, just calm down. I know everybody is upset and everybody is worried and concerned, but this is not the place for this. What do you think is going to happen if Felwyn comes out here? She will clear this place out. So just calm down. Everybody have a drink. Calm down, and let's just go about our nights. There's no need for all of this fighting. And so everybody kind of chills out and goes back. Somebody writes the table and finds the chairs, and everybody sits back down, and the bard in the corner starts playing again. And you all make your way back over to the bar. And Damien, he says, thank you very much, as I promised here. And he pops up 3 ales for you, and he tells you, my name is Elvin. He has a warm smile. He seems very friendly. He's not intimidating or rude in any way. He's very open, very friendly. But you've never seen a creature like this before. It's this dark elf is outside of your realm, but he seems friendly. And he gives you your 3 ales, and then he starts to go on about his business. What do you do?
Cheers.
I mean, do you stop him to ask questions, or I mean, do you just drink your
Whoa,
ales
whoa,
and
whoa, whoa, whoa. All that hustle, bustle, muss, and fuss, and you can't even tell me what it is that you're upset about? You got a drink, pull up a chair, come on. I'm at least owed a story.
oh, you're talking about the halfling?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
he's not the one walking away?
No, Damien. I thought the halfling had already. You gave him a ale, and he had already
Okay,
made his.
gotcha. I
But
misunderstood.
that doesn't
That's
have
fine.
to be
It
the
still
case. It could
stands.
be the.
What on earth question mark is going on here?
Yeah, he stops and like the classic like coach from Cheers. He picks up a mug and starts wiping it, and he says, "Yeah, sorry about that. Tensions in the city have been running high. There's been a string of kidnappings. Powerful researchers have been studying the cosmos at the local observatory," and he kind of points out a window, and you actually see up on a plateau, you see an observatory that looks like a very crude rendition of what you used at NASA. Of course, they don't have the huge telescope and everything, but it's obviously an observatory. Um, but he says powerful researchers have been studying the cosmos at the local observatory, but one by one, they've been going missing. Some, like this guy, believe that the guards have gotten lax in their duties, and others, like this guy, that the researchers are careless. Everyone is reacting out of fear. It's made business slow here at the tavern, and that's not cool. And if you ask me, the researchers may have gotten overzealous and bit off more than they could chew.
Is it I feel like she's kind of like looking over at her compatriots, kind of having that, are you thinking what I'm thinking? That looks awfully familiar kind of look. Would you say that area is open to the public, or do you need special credentials to get in?
You would need a special you would need a letter of recommendation to get into the to speak to the head researchers. But if you want to go into the museum, that's totally open to the public.
Interesting. And
Everything here is you're obviously from out of town, maybe from one of the other cities. Everything here, our whole culture is based on knowledge and education, and uh, everything here is open to the public and for public to consume and learn from. Uh, that's the whole focus of our culture.
that's very similar to the very local culture where we come from too, locally, to our campus, and not Boston.
And yeah, I when he talks about it's all about knowledge and everything, I raise my glass and was like my kind of place and chug the rest of my drink and then I look over like y'all want to check out the museum.
Yeah, I think that's the first place we should check out.
Hey,
See how
Damien,
much
like
they really.
where if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? Are you new? I've not seen you here in the tavern before. Are you new to town?
Yes, we kind of just popped in.
Very recently.
Yeah, just really recently.
So where is this museum at?
It's up on the plateau. The way this city is laid out is there's a plateau, and the observatory and the museum and the official buildings are up on top of this plateau, and then the outer city spreads out at the bottom, and you are currently in the outer city. So you would have to make your way through the outer city and then up. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously stairs going up to the top of the plateau where the museum and observatory are.
So, do you have like a transportation back into the city, or do you just walk there?
Uh, yeah, you just walk. Transportation.
Well, it's a long walk. I mean, you might want to maybe
Ubers,
use a
lifts.
horse carriage. I don't know.
I mean, you
Donkey.
could buy a horse if you feel the need to buy a horse, but it's just. Where did you say you're from?
Um, let's just say we're from up north. Way up north.
Anyway, you know, one of our new friends here, yeah, someone said, you know, kidnapping, sure, but someone else said something about ghosts. What's going on there?
There's been rumblings from the guard that something may have taken up residence in the ruins of Makshana. But I don't know. It's just hearsay. I don't know anything about it.
Are those ruins close to the museum?
No, they're out. It's a few hours walk out of town, but you don't want to go there. That's outside of that's in the dark lands. You don't want to. People have gone to Makshana and never come back. You don't want to go to Makshana.
You're really selling the place.
That's outside of the city, which is outside of the light.
Well, maybe it's a really nice place and people didn't want to come back.
It's all I know is it's in the dark. So we don't go into the dark. As bad things are out there. You're way safer here in the city. If you venture outside of the city, you're asking for trouble.
Well,
I don't necessarily believe in ghosts.
But is it fun trouble?
It depends on your definition of fun, I guess.
I mean, it sounds a little bit fun.
Could be, I guess.
So it sounds like the options here are decide that there's a reasonable explanation for everything. It's a kidnapping and go one way, and go, it's definitely haunted and go the other way. That's the.
You can, if you want to give Damien information about your background, about what you're experiencing and where you're actually from, there's things that can happen here. You can make your way to the observatory, or you can try to find the city guard that everybody's talking about, where you would assume there's guards on patrol around the city. It should be easy enough to find some guards, but I mean, you need information that you don't have, so it's just a matter of how you want to go about it. You can give Damien some information, and things can happen here, or you can move on to the observatory. But he told you weren't going to get to talk to the researchers without a letter.
Well, it seems to me that my character is not the brains. So it's probably metagamey, but maybe someone else would like to ask some smarty pants questions.
It's not necessarily about what you want to ask him, it's what you want to tell him.
You seem to be really focused on where we're from. Do you get a lot of travelers in this area?
Well, yeah, people come from the portals all the time, but I've never had anyone ask for transportation or have any interest in going into the dark.
Well,
You seem
where
a
we're
little odd for travelers, even here.
where we're from, we're all about exploration and trying new things. It feels different here, but I'm not sure how to describe it. I feel like I belong here, and yet I feel like maybe I don't. Um, and I look down at myself, and I'm like just kind of looking at my friends that look nothing like they did before, and just we're just trying to kind of figure out what's going on. We're from somewhere else, almost some time else. It seems.
He puts the mug he's cleaning, he puts the mug down and he leans over like real close to the three of you. And he says, Aerith?
Yes.
Close enough.
You're the three from Aerith.
We are three from Earth.
Come Earth. Never mind. Come with me. And he, like, there's like a dwarf behind the bar, and he says, take the bar. I'll be back in a few minutes. And he asks you to follow him down this hallway that goes behind the bar. Do you follow him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He probably knows what we're talking about.
He leads you down a hallway to a door, and he knocks, and you hear a female voice say, "Come in." And as he leads you into this room, you see a I want to make sure I get this right. I read too much all at once this afternoon.
Adventures really do be like that. It's a lot to take in all at the same time.
As you follow Damien to the back area of the tavern, he leads you into an office. It's a simple area, but houses a large desk behind which is standing an elven woman. I was torn between elven and half orc. I couldn't remember. Standing an elven woman with long blonde hair. Her back is to you, but she turns as you enter. She smiles, but her eyes are guarded, and she seems to be sizing each of you up with only a glance. Thank you, Damien. That will be all for now. And she dismisses him with a casual wave of the hand. He nods and closes the door behind him. Felwyn perches on the edge of her desk, folding her hands in her lap as she makes eye contact with each of you in turn. Felwyn's eyes flare briefly as you instinctively know, you don't know how, but you know she's casting a spell. And a small smirk playing on her features as she looks over you. Oh, you certainly aren't from around here, are you? Jumping planes take some powerful magic, but transferring consciousness, well, that is something else entirely. I presume you're the ones we've been waiting on from Aerith?
Well, it depends. Is Aerith Earth?
It's possible we're pronouncing it wrong. We pronounce it Aerith.
How do you spell it?
We've been studying Aerith for years.
How do you spell it?
EARTH.
That's us.
Sounds like our zip code.
So I assume you were expecting us?
Yes, you were brought here. Your assistance was needed, and you were brought here, much against your will, I'm aware. But the nature of our magic, working with the vacuum, is unpredictable, and we were unsure of when you would arrive, or
Mm.
even where you would arrive.
Huh. So why were we brought here?
You're not going to
The
probe us, are you?
the missing. I'm sure you've heard about the researchers that we've lost from the observatory.
It's been
Um,
mentioned.
they are the key. They have the key to sending you home. They were connecting with your world, getting information from something called the Hubble Space Telescope. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, you don't.
We
None
were
of you
working
do.
on something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
What?
Nope. In your world, it doesn't exist.
There was
Oh.
there was a project proposal for that, but the funding didn't go through.
Hubble. Sounds hokum to me.
A few weeks ago, the telescope appeared to be erased from your timeline, which would take significant magic. The researchers were theorizing that it ended up here somehow, and to my knowledge, summoned you all, people familiar with the telescope, to help find and return it. We
Well,
we tap into a powerful source of energy for our magic here, but none of us truly understand it. So they had no idea when you might arrive. Then they started going missing. I'll I'll make the necessary introductions at the observatory, but I expect you to tell those researchers to pay me a visit when they get back. Of course, you don't want to find them. If you don't want to find them, I'm sure you'll enjoy spending the rest of your existence in our little world. And she kind of smiles that smirk again.
if I were going to expend ridiculous amounts of energy bringing experts into the world, I probably would have brought experts from the timeline before the Hubble got picked up because we don't know about it.
Um, that's unfortunate.
I mean, we are experts in the field, and I'm sure that there are a number of things we could figure out, but not things that we already have figured out.
And she picks up a notepad and is writing like everything you're saying. She's taking notes and writing down. Um,
Now I assume the museum has a lot of the history of the Hubble.
they have their research. Like I said, they've been they've been using the Hubble for years to study your cosmos, which has led to like it's helping us understand our issues. After the breaking, we became a rogue planet, and much like your uh, Earth, it we found comparisons between our two planets, and they were using your Hubble to hopefully uh, get us in a better position here on our planet.
The breaking. Would you mind expounding upon that?
Oh, I didn't even consider that you wouldn't know that. Um, if yeah, the exchanging of consciousness, you have your memories from your home, but not from here. Um, you are on the planet Exlaris. 400 years ago, this was a planet much like your uh, Earth. Uh, we orbited a sun. We the entire planet was lit, and we could farm and um, as I said, it was much like your Earth. Then we a black hole uh, appeared and enveloped Exlaris and knocked it out of its orbit. And so we are now what the researchers have called a rogue planet. There's no sun, there's no moon. All of our light is arcane. It's magic from the vacuum. That's how we grow our crops. Everything is grown with arcane magic. We were using the Hubble, or I say we, the researchers were using the research from the Hubble telescope to study black holes and hopefully discover a way to get Xlaris back on into an orbit around a star.
Interesting.
So that explains the big deal about the dark and the light, I suppose.
Yes. Once after the breaking, the major cities, like everyone converged on the major cities to live, and we use these arcane lights, but we just don't have enough control of the vacuum to light everything. So there's huge areas of the planet that are just in darkness, and there's creatures out there. There's things about that are terrifying, and it's hard to it's people go out into the darkness trying to explore and are never seen or heard from again.
You said you could provide introduction to the
yes, and she gets a piece of paper and writes a letter and does the candle wax and seals it and hands it to you and says, when you go into the museum, as you walk through, you'll see the entrance into the observatory and the labs. There will be an assistant there at a desk. Give this to them, and they will take you to the head researcher, Morgan Sherry. And if as I said, if you find the researchers, that's all I ask. If you find the researchers, have them come to me when they're back, so I can hear of their what they've experienced firsthand. Everything here is information and knowledge. Now, the what you're getting from her, she seems to be very knowledgeable. She seems to know what's going on, but she's also kind of mob bossy. Like, she's got kind of a under like underground. Like she seems to know what's going on, but she's kind of shady at the same time.
As
She's
is
not
most
a
people who work out the back of a bar.
yeah. She's not a researcher. She has knowledge. She knows things, but she's also kind of like she's in charge of maybe she's a crime boss. You don't necessarily know, but yeah, she hands you the letter and tells you to make your way to the observatory. Now, what you do from here is up to you. Like you can go to the observatory, you can go try to find a guard. What do you want to do? Or do you have anything else you would like to ask Felwyn?
I think it's funny that her name is Felon.
Felwyn.
Mm-hmm.
Faelwyn. Maybe I should have said
not how I spelled it, but it's close.
Faelwyn. No, I said Felwyn. That's right.
I just missed the A. I'm down to go to the observatory if the others want to go there. I'm kind of interested in this telescope she speaks of that came from Earth that somehow we don't remember. That intrigues me. That she expected us to know, and of all the people on Earth, we would be in the group that would know, and yet it's like, huh? So
Agree.
I'm intrigued.
Well, if
Fine ghosts, but this does seem a little bit more our area of expertise.
I'm upset because you know how much money we could have made in that project?
Well, we make the same money either way, but
Yes, but with our names on it, we would be more prestigious than me just playing Galaga on the machine.
All right, so you guys make your way up the stairs up to the plateau. As you approach,
Look
you'll
to see if
see
there's a tuk for Lindelin because he wants transportation.
there is not.
Okay.
You'll see a group of buildings arranged in a spiral going outward from a central courtyard. A stone sign near the arch marking the entranceway reads Orion Observatory and Museums, and the letters look like shining stars. It looks like this is magic, like the way these letters are glowing. It looks arcane.
Is there any kind of a pattern that would match up to what we would know as Orion? Because I'm sure if we work at NASA, we would know our
constellations depending
better
on
than I actually do.
You don't see, there's not a constellation like design. It's just the letters in the stone are glowing as if there's like an LED inside the stone.
Gotcha.
But you do, like, the name Orion does, it does trigger. It clicks in your head. Like Felwyn said, they've been using Hubble to examine your solar system for years.
Gotcha.
Lamps keep all the walkways well lit, and it's almost like if you were to see it from above, it may look like a spiral galaxy that maybe one of you have studied. All of the buildings are gray stone that matches the walkway in between them. And the courtyard is lush with bushes and a large tree sustained by these powerful lamps. You make your way through the city to the observatory. It's easy to find, and you catch snippets of conversation as people discuss daily lives, such as the tasks to be done, and occasionally hearing about concerns relating to the ruins outside of the city, rumors spreading that something dark may have taken up residence there. You can also hear concern in people's voices relating to the disappearances. When you get to the observatory, you are pointed to the central building and can introduce yourselves to a secretary. Presenting the letter Felwyn gave you, you are eyed with some suspicion, but he stands up and he says, "Wait here. I'll be right back." And he walks down this corridor.
Sense motive.
You can do a what we could call that a
A study.
yeah, that would be a study.
All right. That's a D14 for me.
Okay.
I didn't roll a 9, but I rolled worse. Big old 4.
I rolled a 3.
Woo!
Seems like the name Felwyn on this letter is what. It wasn't necessarily you that made him suspicious, is that you were coming from Felwyn.
Gotcha. All right.
Checked out.
And you stand there and wait for about 5 minutes, which is what we're going to take right now. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, bathroom break, get a drink, and we will come back. I don't think we're going to finish this tonight because there's too much to do.
Yeah, I've got a pretty close to hard out at 10. So
Yeah. We will get through this observatory. It's in 2 parts. So we'll get through the observatory. That'll be the end of part 1, and then the rest of it we could do. I know Jenna's usually got Film Gamer Party on Sunday night, so we may have to do it on a different night. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break, 5 minutes, and we will be right back. Stick around with us, and we'll come back for the observatory. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. Let me get Jenna's cam set up properly.
I need to change my lights anyway. Come on now. There we go. Sometimes having it where it's like bright screen, dark, everything else hurts. So I'm like, I can just change it if I want to.
What have I done? There we go.
It looks like you probably adjusted the frame instead of the video at first.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Overlays, dude, overlays.
Boom. There we go. Okay, so you guys make your way. The dude finally comes back, and as I said, it actually took him longer than 5 minutes. Is actually almost closer to 10. But he asks you to follow him, and he leads you into through the library to an office where you see a long-haired human. Or as you enter the office, you see it's an extension of the library you just walked through. Books crowding the shelves on every wall and every other surface in the room. Amid all of these books, you see a single figure, a tall human with long hair, gray streaks running through it. On top of a ladder, retrieving a book from a high shelf. As you approach, you can hear the person muttering quietly, unaware of their surroundings. Their assistant, who led you through, clears their throat, and the person on the ladder turns. Oh, terribly sorry. I didn't see you there. As this figure scurries down the ladder, he adjusts his glasses. And he says, unusual to have visitors at this hour. What can I help you with? And the assistant says, they were sent here by Felwyn. And he says, okay, that's fine. You can go back to your duties at the front. And the guy leaves. And so yeah, he introduces himself as what is it, Morgan Sherry?
I think that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he is the lead. He's the lead researcher here at the observatory, and he is curious why Felwyn sent you to him.
She seemed to be interested that we were not from here.
Not from here. You're from Aerith? You're the ones we've been waiting for?
I'm going to sit in a chair and kick my feet up and like sling the axe from off my back and just kind of put it on my lap so that I can comfortably sit. And I go, yeah, that's kind of the thing. You really should have been better about who you picked.
And he also sits in a chair. But he's literally like on the edge. Like he is only using like 3/4 of an inch of that chair. He is listening. He is so excited and listening to every word you say. And he says, I must apologize for pulling you from your world. We felt like we had no choice. If if we're going to find and return the Hubble to your realm, uh, hopefully restoring the timeline in your world will set things right. And so you say you have no knowledge of the Hubble? You have no recollection of the
Well,
Hubble telescope?
we have knowledge of many things. I'm in the fabrication department. This is mechanical engineering, theoretical physics. We're sort of the ones you want. But if what we heard is true and this Hubble Bubble was taken out of the timeline, then you probably should have picked us up before that happened, because for us it's after, and we don't know anything about your specific. Uh, is this a satellite? Is this an Earth observation system? Is this a ship?
It's a telescope that was launched into orbit, and very powerful telescope that could see outside of your solar system. And he kind of mumbles under his breath. It's like it must have created a timeline where it never existed at all. Time is so complicated.
She points back to theoretical physics. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't offer you any refreshment. Would you like tea and cookies? Do you need any refreshments?
I can go for cookies.
I would love cookies.
I'm always down for some tea.
He summons Gilbert, who is the secretary, and has him bring in a pot of tea and a plate of these odd, they're almost like sugar cookies. I don't know if you guys know what a tea cake is. My mom makes them every Christmas, and they're the best thing ever. And my daughter and I both will eat an entire big box full of them. But the plate is has tea cakes on them, and there's a pot of tea and 4 cups. And
as they're bringing this in, I'm just looking around the library and seeing if I recognize. Can I read the language? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. And just seeing what.
Not all of it is English, but you somehow have the ability to read it.
Okay. All right. And just see if there's anything that looks recognizable.
I mean, it's literally thousands of books, but you will see things about. You'll see books about solar systems and constellations and planetary, you know, and you'll see histories of Exlaris. But there's just like I said, it's thousands of books. They're just everywhere.
Gotcha. My kind of place.
Oh, that's not the right sound. Let's kill that. So he says, and as you're like you're talking with him, and he says, of course, Eric was mortified when Hubble went missing in your timeline. Such a terrible loss for your world. Thought it may be his fault, but I no longer think that's the case. He suspected it ended up somewhere on our world, which is why he sent for the 3 of you. I'm sorry it was such a shock for you, but you all knew the telescope so well. We thought you may be able to find it. If it was our fault, you have our sincerest apologies. We want to see this spectacular invention return to you where it belongs. It has been a great benefit to both our worlds. We would never want to rob you of that.
Do you have a way we can see the telescope?
I believe I believe he straightens his glasses. He says, I believe he stands up and I believe I have some papers lying around here. And they spend a moment rummaging through some loose papers on their desk. And they look pleased when they find the ones they're looking for. And he says, here we are. They quickly return to their seat and spend a moment thumbing through the papers. The researchers have been connecting with another world across planes recently, and I'm not certain what you recall of Hubble, but it's a very powerful and useful telescope from your world, or at least a version of the one you know, and it makes some rather impressive observations. Not everything applies exactly, of course, being different planes of existence, but there are some things that can be rather helpful. Actually, it may be better to show you the researcher's office. He keeps a great deal of information there. And he gets up and leads you through a series of stone hallways, some busy with people looking at exhibits, others more quiet. Ah, here we are. A great deal of information in here, obvious and not so, they say as they unlock and push open a wooden doorway. Beyond the doorway is a well lit room with lamps scattered around the room and a large window behind the desk, a heavy velvet looking curtain hanging beside it, large wooden bookshelves all packed with books and loose papers lying on top of them line the walls. But the desk is largely cleared off. The head researcher walks over to the desk and activates a projection with a flare of arcane energy. And let's see. And you see like it's almost like in like the Avengers movies, like this hologram comes up and it's these stars and just a full like this whole thing all around you. The researchers have been studying how the energy of the vacuum may be the cause behind the quickening expansion of the universe. That's why we had been connecting with Earth in hopes that you knew more than we do. He thought that may he thought that may also shed some light on why our magic doesn't always go exactly as we would intend. This energy you see isn't always the most stable to tap into. He thought that by looking at this particular phenomenon, globular clusters, he may be able to pick up some information. This particular projection has been altered in some way. The coloring is different from when I last saw it. It was more red last I saw it. Wait, or was it bluer? This thing changes so often it's hard to keep track. At any rate, there's an adjustment here, and he indicates a round knob on the desk that turns either clockwise or counterclockwise. Um, he tells you that the Hubble Space Telescope observes different wavelengths of light. Those wavelengths can tell people a lot about a cosmic object, including information about its age. Often, blue light means an object is hotter and younger, while red light means it is cooler and therefore older. Um, and so this huge like projection is here in the middle of the room. Do you ask him to make any adjustments or look at it in any way? What would you like to do?
Um, Rix is kind of walking around and through and just sort of taking all of this in. And as she's sort of studying it, she says, you know, there are full jobs back where we're from that are just working with Photoshop and looking at those different light levels and putting them together in different ways to see how it would look to the human eye versus this Hubble. So it could be that it was different the last time you saw it because of the adjustment of light, but since since time travel has already been alluded to, Are you concerned that this is different because time is affecting it differently now than it was last time you saw it?
This is all completely new. This is uncharted territory for us. We expected you to have your expertise on the Hubble when you came here. It it was never uh, it was never an idea that the disappearance of the Hubble would create an alternate timeline. This is completely new territory. It's fascinating. It is it is it's unfortunate for you that you have been deprived of this magnificent technology, but what we're experiencing is also very fascinating. This is a completely uncharted phenomenon. And he reaches down and like turns the knob to the like counterclockwise, and the wavelength of the projection kind of goes blue, goes to the newer, more recent like settings. And Tim, your character looks up as this happens, and you see words, a message written in the stars. Um, and it may not be in English, but here again, as I said, you recognize it, you can read it, and it says Hubble found. And this came
And
up when he turned the dial to the blue.
and so like this is just kind of floating all around us, and I'm looking as he's making the changes, and I see this, and I'm like, whoa, wait. What is this? And I point up to where it says Hubble found. And
Um, that is odd. I've not seen that. Um, apparently Eric sent a message, or I hope it was Eric. I don't know how he could have
is he
done
one of the
that.
missing ones?
Eric is Eric is has disappeared. He was the lead. This is his office. He was the lead researcher. He is the one that brought you here.
So
He used his the vacuum and his arcane abilities, and he is the one that brought you here.
so forgive me if I missed something in previous explanations, but you're able to see through the Hubble, but you don't know where it is?
No, we were studying your solar system. We were now, like right now, we can't see through it. It's not
Gotcha.
functioning. Like we don't know where it's at on. We're assuming it's here on our planet on Xlaris, but we don't know, and we don't know where it is.
But you've never seen this message before?
No. And he says, I wonder if Eric was, if he did this, and he reaches down and he turns the knob
Towards red.
clockwise.
That's what
and
I
it
was going to
goes,
say.
everything goes red. It's the older, the older side of the wavelength, and Rix sees a message in the stars this time. You notice it, and it says, "Go to Makshana."
Oh, well, there you go.
Ooh,
This solves all
that's
the
all she
problems
needed
then,
to
doesn't
see.
it?
That
No,
was
I
all
promise
she
it's
needed.
there. There's no bias. Well, look, rearranging actual stars would probably be quite difficult. However, adjusting a projection is probably not hard at all. So, well, for those capable of doing such things. So, if Eric, you said, is your expert, then we have no reason to believe that it wasn't him adjusting the projection, and potentially we can go meet him at Makshana. Or maybe go ghost hunting, or maybe both. Maybe he's a ghost now.
he says, I wonder what if he hid this in the projection. Wonder what else he's got. And he starts looking around, and um he says, "Oh, well, here's this." And there's a small um wooden carving of a what you would recognize as a satellite. It is a very specific. It's not something you would associate with this world you're in. It's something from your world, and there's a sketch underneath. And let me bring that up onto the screen, and I can, if you need me to put that in Discord, let me get that real quick.
Do we need to see like fine detail?
No,
Okay, well then. Okay.
but I dropped it in. I dropped it in Discord. It is a hand drawn blueprint of a massive telescope. And he says this is Hubble. This is Eric's model of the telescope and his hand drawn blueprints. This is what it looks like. You also find a like Tim's character starts looking around at some of these books. That was something he was interested in already. He finds a historical book about Earth astronomers and physicists, including Nancy Grace Roman, Lyman Spitzer, and Edwin Hubble. These are not names that you recognize.
Well, I hope they're okay. I think we probably spend at least 15 or 20 minutes just fully nerding out over this
Yeah,
schematic
totally.
before the person's like, okay, we gotta go.
Yeah, and these people, and this is another cool thing what NASA did with this game. These are real people. They're very real physicists and astronomers, and there's information here that we could go into, but I know we've got a hard out here in just a couple minutes. So um he at some point as you're researching, he mentions a strange figure that had been visiting the observatory, seemingly an elf, but with something slightly off about them. This figure hadn't been seen around since the last disappearance, but had visited with all of the researchers who have disappeared. Uh, he's a very suspicious, but none of uh, none of our friends or contacts know anything about them or who they were. Uh, in a way, it's a comfort that none of the other cities are trying to get the upper hand. But in another sense, it's even more troubling that absolutely nothing is known. That is, of course, if this figure knows anything at all about the disappearances. Um,
Well, a very real possibility that you need to consider is if you're pulling things and people from our timeline, you might accidentally be pulling things and people from your own timeline.
as far as I know, you're the only three that Eric has brought. If he is experimenting with that, that is outside. He shouldn't be doing that. This was a you three were brought here just for this emergency situation, but I mean, he did bring you here, so it's possible he brought someone else.
All right. Well, we'll go and we'll look out for your weird elf. And um she kind of elbows Lindlin and is like a different weird elf.
Right.
Um,
Now so the way I gather it is if you brought us or if he brought us here, does that mean we've been wiped out in our original timeline?
I would assume, and you heard Felwyn say consciousness swap. So Rix is in Earth in Jenna's body, and Lindolin is on Earth in Tim's body.
I kind of look down for a moment and go, I don't think they're probably going to notice a difference.
Not with you.
But yeah, if you're going to make your way to the ruins, if that's your plan, Sherry says, before you go, please come with me, and he leads you to another room. Relatively small room down one of the quieter hallways, but still within the same building. You enter and you see 3 desks, each pushed against a different wall and holding what looks to be a computer. The large square screen connects to a box underneath the desk. These are similar to old computers on Earth, most resembling something from the 1960s, but they run on the same arcane power the players have seen throughout the city. Sherry again uses a spell to activate a projection in the middle of the room. This particular technology may help. It uses something called a gravitational lensing to get a better look at things around us. We usually use it to look at other stars and planets, but it can be turned to your own world as well. Gravitational lensing occurs when the gravity of a massive cosmic object distorts space and time, magnifying and bending the path of light coming from beyond it. It lets us see further as though through a lens. Our magic allows us to simulate this effect. He waves his hand, and the projection clears, showing the woods outside the city and the ruins within them. And so
this is where I would say that's how we found out black holes, but I don't know about black holes because we don't have Hubble.
You've got black holes, but you haven't done all the intense research. You know of black holes, you just don't.
Right.
Okay.
In theory. Yeah.
He hands you this. What you see in the on it through this lens is it's like through the woods. There's a road that leads out of town into the darkness and to these ruins. And I've got the map up on the stream right now. You can see Aldestron. It's where you're at, and to the west is the ruins of Makshana. This lens can help determine the best path to the ruins, but it cannot reveal much about the ruins. Mechanically, you can use this thing once, and it can you can take this device, and it will reveal traps along with their route or the answer to a puzzle. But it's only one-time use. Once you use it, it's done.
One time per person, or
no, one time.
My kind of question.
He will. He digs in his pockets and pulls out a bottle with a red liquid in it. He says, "This is a greater healing potion. I've kept it back just in case." And he digs around on Eric's desk and hands you this copy of this map that is you see on this on the stream, and he says, "Good luck." Even though even brave adventurers need luck. If you can bring back our research team, that would be fantastic, and hopefully Eric can help you locate the Hubble, or you can locate the Hubble.
I'm not worried about this. We've dealt with the marketing department before.
And that's where we're going to shut it down. You guys make your way towards the end of town. The lanterns are lighting the streets and the city behind you, but through this archway, it is.
Is there any portable lighting?
No, there's just these lanterns that are hanging about that are arcane and magically lit. I'm sure Sherry could probably hook you up with at least one lantern.
That would be helpful.
But that is that's the end of part 1 of this this adventure. Again, the fabled one shot. I still don't think a one shot exists. I've only experienced it one time in 5 years of running games. I've only experienced one shot.
I started to pull a Skidmar and read the adventure. I've got it. I started to read the adventure, and that way we could just speed through. But I was like, no, I don't want to cheat.
Well, I could have railroaded. We could have gone through, but there's some good role playing happening. I wanted to enjoy the game.
It sucks the fun out.
So 2 weeks from tonight would be the next night, but I don't know if Jenna's available. So we may have to do a weeknight or a Saturday night or something. We'll figure that out. We'll get it scheduled.
Okay.
But yeah, I hope everyone watching.
2 weeks from tonight is Mother's Day. All y'all are busy.
I will be here no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I will go to Muscle Shoals and see my mom, but I will have to be back here because I've got to be at work in Monday morning. So I will be here Sunday night. If nobody else is available to play, we won't play. But
I'll be with the only mother that I'll be spending time with all day that day. So I can be available Sunday evening, but
if we can't do 2 weeks from tonight, we'll do something.
We'll figure it out.
We'll do something else, and we'll get this wrapped up on another night. Thank you for joining us.
I want Jenna in the ruins.
Yes, for my awesome players, Ned, Tim, and Jenna. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the game. Next week, we will have more of our Chain Theory playtest. We're running a Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel, but with Chain Theory mechanics. And the idea behind this is a long-term playtest. It's almost campaign. And we're going to really stretch the system and see how we can make it work, and we can make changes in real time. So next Sunday night will be Chain Theory. We will continue the funnel that we're running. The group are on a ship, and apparently everybody is dead, and there's some kind of creature chasing them. Almost kind of like
fun.
Alien in a way. It's kind of weird.
Weird how that happens.
That I picked that adventure for us to play.
Can't imagine.
So I'm Scott. And again, if you want to join the Random Encounters Guild, here is the link for you. All are welcome. We love playing new games with new people. And for Jenna, Tim, Ned, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.